Welcome back to the Meeple Marathon and our continued coverage of Massive Darkness 2 and the character classes that come in Massive Darkness 2. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Rogue class. The Rogue class is utilizes a bag building mechanic and then drawing from that bag to take your actions. You can take whatever action you so choose, but if you happen to draw a token equivalent to the action that you're going to take, you're going to get a little bonus. And then how you build out your bag beyond the starting tokens is really up to you. So what kind of rogue do you want to build? So let's first talk about setup. So there's the bag right here that the game comes with. Obviously, it's very obviously the rogue bag. And you're only going to put at the beginning the starting tokens. Now, how do you differentiate the starting tokens from the rest, you might ask? I'm just going to dump all these out for right now. The starting tokens are ones with kind of a black middle background. So let me get, here is a starting movement token, and here is a one that you will add to the bag. See how this one does not have the dark center. So all the ones with the dark center, which you can see here, are the ones you're going to put into your bag to begin with. Now, you're also going to choose a level 1 skill, just like everybody else. And each level 1 skill, you can see, adds 2 additional tokens to your bag. So do you want to add the one that says, draw another action token? Or do you want to start adding shadow to your bag or poison to your bag? I'm going to talk more about these in a second here, but obviously right off the bat you're already making a decision as to how you want to build out your bag. All right, there's also 2 reference cards here. They're very straightforward though. You can see they have a black background on them and don't have a number at the top. These are just for your reference for if you have the shadow and poison tokens in your bag and you need a reminder of what they do. So we'll explain those here in a second. All right, so let's get back to the general mechanics of the rogue. On your turn, you're going to randomly draw out 3 tokens, all right, because you have 3 actions to take. If you are playing solo, you would pull out a 4th, all right? So you draw 3 random tokens from the bag. You're going to flip them all up so you can read what they say. And then you have a choice. Again, you can take any 3 actions that you want, but it would behoove you to spend these tokens to match up with your actions. So if you're going to move first, you would want to flip over this one and say, all right, I am taking a movement action, and since I have spent this token to take that action, I'm actually going to get an additional movement point. So instead of your standard 2 movement points on a move action, you would get 3. You would spend that token, and the rogue's really nice because these help you keep track of how many actions you have taken. Now, say it's early on in the game and you're just really doing a lot of movement. You'd be like, okay, I'm going to take another movement action. I'm going to spend this one. That means you don't have the 2 rerolls in the future, but you just get a standard 2 MP move action. Then last but not least, maybe you decide, all right, I am finally in range of the first monster group, or I opened a door and spawned a monster group. Now I want to attack. So you will attack, and since you are spending this token to do your attack action, you're actually going to get an additional yellow die in your attack roll. So boom, there you go. Now, there are not only tokens, but abilities that allow you to draw additional tokens throughout your turn, which are really nice. You can see here's one of the tokens that you could add right off the bat at the very beginning, and this one says draw 1 token after this action. So you're actually not going to get, if you draw this token, you still take an action for it, which can be move, attack, whatever you want to be, rest. You would still flip it over, but this bonus allows you to draw another token from the bag. So now you actually get 4 actions in that turn, and say you have several of these in your bag, you could get really lucky and have a big turn. Also, you'll notice that Phaedra here, who is the standard, she comes in the core box, rogue class, her shadow effect allows you to draw a token from the rogue bag. So again, If you combo that with the fact that you can add shadow tokens into the bag, if you draw these shadow tokens out, it essentially means that no matter where you are on the map, you are considered to be in shadow, and you get to roll the shadow die. So if you start pulling these out of your bag and then continue to roll these and have some of these in your bag, you could see how this could steamroll into massive turns for the rogue. I really like the rogue class because how you build out your character is very straightforward. It's, it depends on what tokens you put in it, but just the ability to not only kind of snowball a turn into multiple actions past your 3, but also just to kind of flip over these tokens and know you can still do what you want, but maybe I'll do a little bit more running around this turn. If you draw several MP tokens, maybe I will go run and get that treasure and then just attack once instead of attacking twice. It's really up to you. I have really appreciated the bag building aspect of the rogue and the gaining of tokens, especially the fact that they're one of the few classes that you might have the opportunity to take additional actions beyond your standard 3. Alright, so let's take a look at the skill cards here. Remember, we had 2 reference cards that have this black background. They just set off to the side. And we already kind of looked at your level 1 skills here, and they're basically adding tokens to the bag. So I'm actually going to lay these out right here just so you can kind of keep an eye on them. Now, your level 2 skills give you some interesting options. One is a trap, essentially. You can throw down a spike trap at a range of 2. It does not specify, and I have not gotten clarification yet, whether that range of 2 needs to be in line of sight. I feel like it does. Certainly you couldn't put it through a door, and since it says in range 0 to 2, I'm assuming that it should also say within line of sight here. But essentially you can throw down a trap. It also has this action at the bottom: move yourself to a trap up to 1 zone away and remove it without suffering its effect. This basically gives you the ability to get rid of a trap that is placed on the board during setup, which is nice. If their only path is through a trap, you can get rid of it. And this also does not specify spike trap or bear trap, so I'm pretty sure you could get rid of either one. But basically you throw it on a trap that only affects enemies, and you can get rid of a trap, so handy to have. And the other one here is basically allows you to redraw tokens once per bag, essentially. You'll see that you refresh this card when reshuffling the bag. That means you have drawn all the tokens out. There's no more tokens to draw, or not enough. You'll take all of your discarded tokens, put them back into your bag, and you're reshuffling your bag, essentially. So this gives you the ability to, several times per game, if you draw out 3 tokens that you just don't like, you can put them back and draw 3 more. If you're looking for very specific tokens, you might have a chance to get them. So there is still a lot of chance in that. You obviously don't get to hand pick your tokens, but again, it's a handy little skill to have. Or what I've found is that I don't necessarily go straight to level 2s. Remember, even at level 2, you could go out and get another level 1 skill to add more tokens to your bag. Also, because when you get to level 3 here, you're basically just adding more of those tokens to the bag, and you're increasing, shadow form. So shadow form 2 would replace shadow form 1, and there's 4 total shadow tokens in the bag. So at this point, you would get to add 2 more in. Then you could remove 2 other tokens. So say you're like really not wanting these, you've got too many +1 movements and you've put in some +2 movements or something like that. So you're actually like culling your bag of the tokens you don't want. And now all of a sudden, your shadow form here, it was spend a mana to get +1 guaranteed hit. Now you're spending a mana to get 2 guaranteed hits. And then it gets even better, when you get to shadow form 3. Obviously you've added in all of the shadow form tokens in your bag, so you're just culling your bag again. But now in shadow, when you attack, you kill a minion instantly, and you're getting +3. So don't sleep on these either. Yes, the traps are nice, and there, I'm sure, are going to be scenarios where that will come in very specifically, and some people may like the option to mitigate their token draw, but these upgradings of adding this stuff to your bag here, in my opinion, is really nice here. Where's your deadly mixture? Remove any 2 tokens. Heroes attacking poisoned enemies. So you've put poison on enemy. They get to ignore a die, and that poison enemy takes 5 wounds at the start of their activation. I mean, these are some incredible level 5 cards, in my opinion. You might, probably not in a single game, get up to having multiples of these, but you could certainly if you start playing the campaign with the rogue. Alright, last but not least, I've been asked to cover the various different hero characters who fit within each of these classes. So at the moment there is actually only 2 rogues that you could choose from if you're wanting to play the rogue. So hopefully down the road we might see an expansion for Massive Darkness 2 that includes some more of these classes. So you have Phaedra here, who is in the core box. So you're definitely going to get her. She allows you to spend a mana to reroll a die. Pretty straightforward, but her shadow form is what is really does it, in my opinion. Sorry about that. You know, obviously with her, in my opinion, you definitely want to be building up the shadow form to get as many shadow tokens in there as possible, to be rolling that shadow die as much as possible, to be gaining as much additional actions as possible. Our other rogue here, who comes in the Darkbringer pack, so basically he was a stretch goal, is Mist. He basically is, as his name would suggest, can, if he is moving and using a blue token, so that would be this one or this one. You can't always use this, but if he uses one of those plus 1 or 2 MP tokens, he can actually move out of a group, kind of just mist away, without taking a reaction damage. So he can actually be in the middle of the fray, and if he uses the right token, he can escape without being phased. His shadow ability is really nice too. Basically, if you use this at the very end of your, say you move and then you attack from shadow and hit on your shadow die, you're going to be, basically right there getting +4. I'm assuming the action that you have just taken, the attack action, is included in that. So if you have taken a third action, you're looking at +6. So again, move him out of the group, get him a ranged weapon, and keep him out of trouble, basically. Freda really doesn't have any weapons that I would say are really good for her. I have not come across any that allow you to take extra actions or draw extra tokens or anything like that. But yeah, as of right now, those are the only 2 rogues that are part of the game. Again, core box is Freda, and Mist is in the Darkbringer stretch goal box. Alright, so that's going to do it for our coverage of the rogue. And actually, there is a character who we will see in my next video who does have some roguelike tendencies. So we'll see him very shortly in our next video when we cover paladins. But that's going to do it for the rogues. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Once again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.